Daniel Craig's wrist game hits harder than his action scenes. Every other masterpiece in his closet tells a different story of precision and power you've never seen before. So stick around with us because the watches in his closet are going to blow your mind. The first and foremost piece in his collection is none other than a Rolex. The Rolex Daytona is a watch that doesn't scream wealth but whispers power. This is the Daytona from the golden era of racing chronographs produced in the 1970s, when Rolex tools were built for professionals, not hype. The 6263 features a 37mm stainless steel case, perfectly proportioned by vintage standards, paired with a black acrylic bezel engraved with a tachymeter scale, an unmistakable trait of this reference. Inside beats the legendary manual wind Valjoux 727 movement, offering higher frequency accuracy than its predecessors. The screw-down pushers weren't just for looks, they improved water resistance and helped cement the Daytona's reputation as a serious tool watch. This is the kind of watch that seasoned collectors hunt for years, often trading at well over six figures today. Craig's Daytona has a price between $100,000 and $140,000, and it's truly worth the price. The dial is clean, balanced, and functional, with contrasting subdials that make it instantly recognizable even from across the room. On Craig's wrist, the 6263 feels less like a vintage artifact and more like a quiet declaration. This man understands watch culture at its deepest level. But Craig doesn't stay locked in the collector's vault for long, because after a hardcore racing chronograph, he switches gears into something unique every day. Rolex Datejust 36 is a reminder that real authority doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be timeless. If the Daytona is a collector's trophy, the Rolex Datejust 36 is the definition of timeless confidence. Craig was spotted wearing this piece in 2008. Introduced in 1945, the Datejust was the world's first automatic wristwatch with a date window that changed instantly at midnight, a revolutionary move that reshaped watchmaking forever. Craig's preference for the 36mm case size says a lot. The stainless steel oyster case offers robust water resistance, while the smooth or fluted bezel adds just enough refinement. Inside ticks Rolex automatic perpetual movement, known for its reliability and accuracy. The iconic Cyclops lens over the date window ensures instant legibility, a feature now inseparable from Rolex's identity. It's the watch you wear when you don't need to prove anything. Clean dial layouts, applied indices, and impeccable finishing makes this one of the most versatile watches ever produced. It's not loud or rare in appearance, but culturally untouchable, and its prices ranges from $5,000 to $7,000 in the market. But when subtle elegance isn't enough, and Craig wants something darker, sharper, and more aggressive, he goes custom. The custom Rolex Submariner by Project X Designs proves that some watches aren't meant to be noticed, they're meant to dominate. Surprisingly, Craig has also been spotted wearing a customized Rolex Submariner by British customizer Project X Designs. Craig's 50th anniversary Rolex LV Submariner has been customized to replace the green bezel with a more traditional black bezel. Daniel Craig's custom Rolex Submariner by Project X Designs take one of the most iconic dive watches in history and turns it into a stealth weapon. The stainless steel case receives a matte black DLC coating, eliminating reflections and giving the watch a covert tactical feel. The classic Submariner silhouette remains intact with a 40mm case, unidirectional bezel and bold indices. Inside beats Rolex's automatic movement, unchanged mechanically, because when something works perfectly, you don't mess with it. The dial is typically blacked out, with subtle lume accents that glow fiercely in low light. On Craig's wrist, it mirrors his Bond persona with brutal efficiency. But even the darkest Submariner eventually needs to travel, and that's where Craig reaches for a watch built to cross borders. The Rolex GMT-Master Pepsi feels less like a watch and more like a masterpiece built for power. Originally developed for Pan Am pilots, this watch was designed to track multiple time zones simultaneously, a perfect fit for a man constantly moving between continents. The iconic red and blue bezel isn't just aesthetic flair, it separates day and night hours for quick reference. Craig's GMT-Master features a 40mm oyster case, paired with Rolex's robust automatic movement and the signature fourth GMT hand. The watch has a price from $11,000 to $14,000, and Craig has been spotted wearing it many times. The rotating bezel allows tracking of a second time zone with ease. Despite its colourful reputation, this watch remains highly functional, legible, and shockingly versatile. On Craig, it feels lived in, not precious. Whether it has a vintage aluminum bezel or a modern ceramic one, the Pepsi remains one of the most recognisable watches on earth. But when Craig stepped fully into the Bond universe, his wrist allegiance shifted and Omega entered the spotlight. The Omega Seamaster 1948 on the wrist feels like a quiet tribute to history, refined and deeply intentional. After decades of high-octane tool watches, Daniel Craig slows things down with the Omega Seamaster 1948, and this is where his collection turns deeply sentimental. He was spotted wearing an Omega Coaxial Master Chronometer Seamaster 1948 in his Knives Out character, Detective Benoit Blanc. Craig's version comes in a 38mm stainless steel case, a deliberate vintage-inspired size that feels intimate and refined rather than imposing. The dial is clean and minimalist, often featuring small seconds at 6 o'clock, blued hands, and subtle applied markers that reward close inspection rather than quick glances. Beneath the surface beats the Omega Master Chronometer Caliber 8804, a modern marvel offering exceptional accuracy, a 55-hour power reserve, and resistance to magnetic fields up to 15,000 Gauss. The dome sapphire crystal mimics acrylic from the 1940s, while the leather strap completes the throwback aesthetic. This is Daniel Craig choosing emotional storytelling over brute force. With a market price of $6,900, it's understated, intelligent, and quietly powerful. Now, if the very first Omega Seamaster watch on Craig's watch list rang a bell, then don't scroll away because the watches coming next aren't just rare, they're legendary. In the meantime, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and keep watching. But nostalgia alone doesn't define Craig's taste, because buried deep in Omega's past is a watch that's not elegant, not subtle, and wildly mechanical. The Omega Seamaster Memomatic proves Daniel Craig doesn't just tell time, it commands it. The Omega Seamaster Memomatic is one of the most unconventional watches Omega has ever produced, and Craig's only one instantly signals serious collector credibility. Released in the late 1960s, this was Omega's first automatic alarm watch, powered by the Caliber 980, a movement so complex it required two barrels, one to keep time and one solely to power the alarm. The case is bold and chunky, typically measuring around 40mm with a distinctly retro cushion-like shape. Two crowns dominate the profile, one for time setting and winding, the other for controlling the alarm via rotating inner bezel. And when that alarm goes off, you don't hear it, you feel it. The Memomatic vibrates aggressively against the wrist, like a mechanical wake-up call from another era. It's not about elegance or flexing wealth, it's about appreciating mechanical audacity. With a market price ranging from $3,000 to $4,000, the Memomatic is proof that Craig doesn't just wear watches, he understands them. And after indulging in vintage madness, Craig snaps back into modern refinement with sapphire steel and serious technical beauty. The Omega Ville Hour Vision proves that real luxury is about what you reveal, only when someone looks closer. Omega's partnership with Craig goes beyond James Bond. He's appeared in advertisements and been seen off-screen wearing other model Omegas, including the Ville Hour Vision dress watch in blue. The Omega Ville Hour Vision Blue is where modern watchmaking flexes quietly. At first glance, it looks like a refined dress watch, but look closer and it's a full-blown engineering showcase. The 41mm stainless steel case features Omega's signature sapphire crystal case sides, allowing light to pour in from every angle and reveal the moment like a museum exhibit on the wrist. The deep blue dial is rich, layered and dynamic, shifting shades depending on lighting. Inside beats the Coaxial Master Chronometer Caliber 8500, visible through both the case back and the sapphire side windows. This movement delivers exceptional precision, long-term durability, and anti-magnetic protection up to 15,000 Gauss. Applied indices, polished hands, and flawless finishing make this watch feel luxurious without drifting into fragility. On Daniel Craig, this isn't a red carpet accessory, it's a statement of restraint. Confident, modern, and technically impressive without shouting. This is the watch you wear when you want sophistication to do the talking. But sophistication has its limits, because every Bond eventually craves speed, heritage, and a chronograph built for action. The Omega Speedmaster 57 chronograph brings speed, history, and intent into perfect alignment. Craig was spotted on the set of No Time to Die wearing the Omega Speedmaster 57 chronograph. The 38.6mm stainless steel case strikes a perfect balance, compact enough for everyday wear. The standout features are the broad arrow hands, two-register chronograph layout, and clean dial symmetry that screams old-school motorsport. Powering the watch is the Omega Coaxial Caliber 9300, a technically advanced movement featuring a vertical clutch chronograph, twin barrels, and a 60-hour power reserve. This isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. This is heritage rebuilt with modern engineering. Craig wears it like a man who appreciates where the Speedmaster came from but has no interest in babying it. It's sporty, functional, and dripping with legacy. But if the Speedmaster 57 is about controlled speed, the next watch is about pure, unapologetic domination. When everything gets heavy, the Omega Seamaster Plant Ocean feels built to endure what others can't. Daniel Craig first appeared as Bond, taking over for Pierce Brosnan in 2006's Casino Royale. This is the watch most people picture when they think of Daniel Craig as James Bond. The Omega Seamaster Plant Ocean, reference 2201-5000, is a monster, both in size and capability. With a massive 45.5mm stainless steel case, this watch was designed for extremes, offering an astonishing 600 meters of water resistance. The unidirectional bezel, bold Arabic numerals, and helium escape valve all reinforce its professional dive watch credentials. Inside beats Omega's automatic movement, built to withstand pressure and shock. On Craig's wrist, it looks right at home, matching his physical presence and rugged Bond persona perfectly. And after steel, sweat, and salt water, Craig finishes collection with something warmer, richer, and final. From steel and stealth to bold elegance, the Omega Speedmaster 40mm red gold on the wrist makes a statement without saying a word. The Omega Speedmaster 40mm red gold is the quiet mic drop at the end of Craig's watch journey. Crafted from Omega's proprietary red gold alloy, this watch delivers warmth, durability, and a depth of colour that standard rose gold simply can't match. The 40mm case keeps proportions elegant, while the classic Speedmaster design anchors it firmly in Omega's most legendary lineage. The dial is refined, the finishing immaculate, and the overall presence is premium. On Daniel Craig, it feels like closure. From gritty steel divers to refined gold chronographs, this watch represents the evolution of both Bond and the man who played him. And that's it, a complete analysis of Craig's watch collection. If you're impressed by his watch collection, then stay tuned to us because our next watch is on the top 10 most expensive luxury brand watches in the world. And trust me, you don't want to miss this one. See you there.